friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 books that I really regret reading. So, if you're not into these kinds of videos where I just kind of bash on books for like a couple minutes, you are more than welcome to skip along. But if you want to see what books I regret reading, and maybe it'll inspire you to read the book, because I find myself, sometimes people hate a book so much, I find myself really intrigued and want to pick up the book to see what they're talking about. Or if you agree with me and these books were also a total complete waste of your time, let me know in the comments. But if you'd like to see other videos from me, hit like, subscribe, and comment, and then let's just kind of hop into the video. So starting off with the first book, that is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This is an adult romance novel following Tate and Archer, right? No, Tate and Miles Archer. It's important for you to know that Miles is a pilot, so he kind of like jets around here and there. Tate knows it's not love at first sight, they're not even friends to begin with. They just kind of tolerate each other because Miles is Tate's brother's best friend. But the two of them end up in a kind of like friends with benefits situation, and all she has to do is follow 2 rules: never ask about the past and never talk about the future. And you know, per things that are supposed to happen in a romance book, they fall in love. Now, I know I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars when I first read it. I enjoyed it when I read it, but the more I sit with it and really just ruminate and marinate in what this book is about and all the things that were in this book itself, there were some weird things, and I kind of regret reading it and giving it such a high rating. But alas, I can't really go back. Well, I can go back and rechange my rating, but it's been so long since I've read the book that I feel like I wouldn't even know what I'm rating it for. And I could reread the book, but that means I have to go through the weirdness again, and I don't want to do that. Like, when I mean weird, I mean like there's random poetry in here that doesn't make much sense. There was a sex scene where he went in there with no lubrication or foreplay whatsoever, and it was just disturbing to me, and it sounded rather painful on Tate's side, I'm not gonna lie. And then just some weird commentary. Like, there was a scene where he was like looking at his baby, and he was like, our baby has a weird penis, ha 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 ha. And I'm just sitting here like, this is a weird thing to bring up. But I regret reading it because it was just weird overall. And I didn't feel like the romance was unhealthy. The weird poetry bits wasn't that great either. Like, it was just like some weird, like, if I could describe it, I always describe it as like a teenager learning about poetry for the first time. And that's what it was written about. Like, it was like Tumblr poetry written by someone who should not be writing Tumblr poetry. But yeah, completely regret reading this book. I feel like there were other books out there that I would have enjoyed a lot more and would have preferred spending my time on. I don't know why I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think I just kind of bought into the hype of a Colleen Hoover novel. But I was not a fan of the book. Like, at all. Now that I'm thinking back at it and trying to really grapple with what this book actually like meant to me, and that I had to like sit down and really think about it, would not recommend this book. Please do not read this book unless you are a big Colleen Hoover fan, in which case I'm sorry. The next one is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. This is like a feminist, and I say this with air quotes because it wasn't very feministy at the reading of the book. A feminist retelling of Macbeth through Lady Macbeth's eyes. Full-blown retelling. Not everything is the same in this book. Like, it's completely different from the play to the actual book itself. Y'all, I gave this book a 1 star. This was so bad. It didn't scream feminist to me. There were just moments that there was like a weird like Eowyn / Daenerys Targaryen moment where he was like, no man can kill me. And she goes, but I am no man. And it was not built up or like fought for or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not succeeded. But it wasn't built up or really just like decidedly any kind, like it wasn't, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? It didn't pay off. Like the payoff wasn't there. The build-up wasn't there. Meet my little Void. He's screaming his little head off for some odd reason, so I'm just gonna hold him here until he decides to get off. But the payoff wasn't there. It just didn't make sense for her to have that moment where there wasn't any build-up at all in the slightest regarding this moment. What else can I say? The xenophobia. There was so much xenophobia against the Scottish people, of all people. And it never went anywhere. It was just like, oh yeah, we just hate the Scots for no reason. You can't see it, but his tail's whacking at me. He's not very happy that he's on camera right now. He hates being on camera. Here, I'll set you down. You gotta behave on my lap. No, stay on my lap. There was no payoff. If Lady Macbeth went from this like really strong character in the play who like manipulated the fuck out of Macbeth to a really just passive and just not wily character at all. I don't know if wily is the right word either, but just not a great character and just very, 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 very boring read. Like I listened to the audiobook, which I'm grateful for that it wasn't just my main read at the time. Typically I have audiobooks secondary to like my whatever else I'm reading. But it was just like a waste of my time, and I wish I had like learned about this. Like my friend had reviewed this book shortly before I finished the book, and I wish I had learned about this book beforehand, because she also wrote a scathing review. But it was just not good. And if you want to pick up any kind of feminist retelling, I recommend anything else but this one. I don't understand why we had to have this book. So the next one is Same Time Next Year by Tessa Bailey. This is a novella. This is an adult romance novel. Again, loose on the romance because I felt like it wasn't very romantical, if you catch my drift. This follows Britta, who is a bartender at a Slugger's bar. Is very near and dear to her heart. Her half-brother is on the Bridgeport Bandits, which means she has a very strong no hockey boys rule, but she has a soft spot for Sumner. Sumner is a beast on the ice, but the problem is that his work visa is coming to an end and he can't seem to find a way to renew it, or without reason. So the two of them concoct a plan. Sumner marries her, gets to stay in America, or Canada. I forget which one of those two hockey-related areas. And then at the end of the year, he will help Britta, her name's Britta, like the water filter. I don't know why she named her Britta, but we're not going to get into that part quite yet. And he will help Britta buy the bar so she could own the bar for herself and actually be like, you know, a business owner or what have you. I gave this a 1 star as well. Aside from the fact that the main character's name is Britta, which again, I don't understand why you would name a main character after a water filter. No offense to all the Brittas who are actually named Britta out there. The other thing is that there was no chemistry between the characters. They didn't really grow. It's a novella, so it's supposed to be a little bit more faster paced. But there was no growth from the characters, no chemistry between the characters at all whatsoever. I was waiting the entire novella for something to pick up and something to happen. This book was purely written for sex, and sex scenes were not even that great. He likened her like coming to her climax as the spin cycle on a washing machine because she was shaking so much. Let me just repeat that for all of y'all who think about wanting to read this book or this novella. He likened her climax to the spin cycle on a washing machine because she was shaking so much during her climax. Like I said, just some weird descriptors in there that I feel like really just, one, took the moment right out of me. Like, why would you say that? 2, why didn't your editors stop you? Because I completely understand, you know, writing a book and thinking this was like this line was like the gift from the gods. Like, you've been stuck on this line forever and finally it just kind of clicks and it gets there. But your editors and your beta readers and your family who loves you dearly and wants you to succeed should sit there and go, maybe not. Maybe we should come up with something else. Yeah. Hell, even like a Tremble would have been better than likening her to the spin cycle. Like, if you are shaking that badly from a climax that you are like the spin cycle on a washing machine, I would personally get that checked out by a doctor. Genuine concern. But yeah, I regret reading this book. It was just a waste of my time. It was a lot of nothing, truly. The next was A Christmas Story, and I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars solely because it's a Christmas story, and that is Christmas Her. Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. This follows Ellie Oliver, who's kind of down on her luck right now. Last year, she met the woman of her dreams, but the woman of her dreams kind of disappeared on her and left her just like floating around and not really doing anything. Now, she's lost her job and has now been stuck working at a coffee shop trying to make ends meet. That is until one drunken night, the owner of the coffee shop, Andrew, proposes a plan. Let's have them pretend to get married, because then he will get a big like inheritance or something, and he can help support her while she tries to become this big, huge animator. That is until she goes to his family's home for Christmas to meet his family and do the whole kip caboodle, and sees that his sister was the girl of her dreams from the year before. Again, 2 out of 5 stars. I gave it the 2 just solely because it was a Christmas book, because I'm Filipino and Christmas is automatically like a 5 for me. Just in general. However, this book had some weird pseudo-cheating plot line that I despised. I hate cheating. I hate cheating plot lines with a burning passion. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I wish there were some other things I could do away with. Like, I will give a book a 1 star if there is even the hint of a cheating plot line. I think I've given books 3s because of a pseudo-cheating or a suspected cheating or just a cheating plot line. Like, I hate them so much. They make no sense to me. I don't get why it happens. I don't get why we still use this trope, but it still does. There's a pseudo-cheating plotline here where Ellie is like madly in love with the sister whose name I'm forgetting and don't really truly care about, but she's marrying Andrew. So it's like, it's not like actual cheating, but it was like icky enough because it happens so often that I just wanted to be done with it. Like, it happens so often where the main love interest was like, you're marrying my brother, and she goes, and Ellie would go, but I'm in love with you, and they would have a steamy makeout session in the back, and it was just weird, because to me, there would be a lot of red flags going off. Like, if my brother's fiance was willing to cheat on him with me, what makes him not want to cheat on me to someone else? But that line of thinking never seemed to pop up at all. There was a point where we got a big romantic gesture, and she calls it embarrassing because she turned her down, and then I would have jumped off a bridge. If I'm being kind of honest with y'all, I would have just jumped off a bridge. I hated this book with a vehemence. Like, I read this book front to back. Was like, maybe it'll get better. Maybe we'll just come clean about the fact that this is a fake dating situation, which I would have done, because at this point it would have just made more sense to have come clean instead of keeping this a secret for a whole ass book. But no, the pseudo cheating continued, and it just was icky and sticky and gross, and I just did not like it, and it dropped. This is how bad I hated this book. Because I really enjoyed the author's other novel, which is Prince Charming or something charming. I'll put the cover on here. I love this book. Like, it bumped this author from a maybe buy to an auto buy author, because it was just such a fun read and so great. And then Kiss Her Once for Me dropped this for this author from an auto buy author to a maybe not right now author, if that tells y'all anything. And the last book that wasted my time and I regret reading with such a strong, like, exuberant thing is Beautiful Villain by Rebecca F. Kinney. Kenny? I don't know how to pronounce this name. This is a Great Gatsby retelling following Daisy, who's just graduated from high school. She just broke up with her boyfriend Tom. It's just not going great. That is until she finds out that her old best friend, Gatsby, or Jay, has moved back into town and is super freaking rich. I forget if she graduated college or high school. Either way, she's of age. This is a smutty novel. Super freaking rich and throwing all these parties, but as she gets closer to the glitz and the glamour and just like the life that Jay Gatsby has created for himself, she finds out that he has a very weird secret, and that was that he's a vampire. I have a full-length review of this book, so I will leave that link down below so you guys don't have to sit here and listen to me ramble about this book. But if you want to sit here and listen to me ramble about this book was terrible. It was so bad. I had high hopes. It was a Great Gatsby retelling, which was one of my favorite classics of all time. If you guys have been on the channel for a while, Great Gatsby is one of my favorite classics of all time. We talk about, you know, the American dream, the cost of trying to achieve it, all the things, you know? And none of that was tied into this book at all. All you had were just the main characters' names. What we're learning here in this video is that I dislike poorly written retellings. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Poorly written retellings. Hate them with a passion, with a vehemence. But it was just so bad. Like, the sex scenes were weird. There was a point where they he played with her, and it was just like it was weird. There was like a weird primal scene that wasn't very primal. It was just them running naked in a garden and then having sex in the garden. It was just odd. The things that I loved about Great Gatsby that I wish that was touched upon here were gone, which would have been easily touched upon because it's about vampires. Vampires, I feel like, could be the American dream. You know, you live forever. You can gain as much wealth as you could accumulate. All the da-da-das. And she did not hit one da-da-da. And the best part about this book was that was just not developed at all. Again, I have a full-length review of this. I would prefer my views to go to that video if I'm not gonna lie. So I will leave that link down below so you guys can understand what the developed portion is. But it was just not developed at all. The sex scenes were meh. Everything was just a shallow retelling of this book. And to boot, which I did tack on to the end of that review, she does end up writing another retelling, and it's a Dorian Gray retelling, which if you guys do not know, Dorian Gray is another one of my favorite classics of all time. I had like 6 copies of the same book. She gender bent it, so Basil is a girl, but neither here nor there. Truly, neither here nor there. But overall, waste of my time of a book. I hated reading every single part about this. Like, it was fun for a second, there were some interesting bits, and then you get to the actual nitty-gritty of it, and it was just bleh. It was just boring. I just don't get it. Like, why would you do this to such a beloved classic? I'm a purist in this situation. But that is it for books that I regret reading, have wasted my time, and just totally just fucked up my day. But if you guys like this kind of videos from me and want me to do more rants, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see books that actually are worth my time reading or worth your time reading, let me know in the comments down below as well. I'll be happy to make that video in the future. But until next time, stay safe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.